there, comic book friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is
Monster Comic Reviews.
That's right. This is for the last week of June.
Yep.
One of our smaller weeks.
Uh-huh.
What are we talking about?
First up we have Ulcer Western, issue 10.
Oh yeah, Hex's kind of girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's not the wife though.
No.
But yeah. So she's all kind of mauled up and scarred up and whatnot too. I like this issue because there's some funny stuff in it. I mean, for me, this issue had a lot of laughs in it, I thought, and the fact that, of course, Dr. Arkham is helping her out, being a doctor. He's gotten her out of her messed up clothes and put her in some frilly, lacy thing that when she wakes up, she's really angry about that she's in. Because, of course, she's all rough and tumble and, basically puts the gun to him and tells him that, how dare you put me in this, you getting a look and, looking, oh, I'm not looking. And then she's like, what, I'm not good enough for you? I mean, so he's caught in both directions and whatnot. And Hex thought it was pretty funny. Obviously, they have a tumble in the bed kind of a relationship.
Yes.
So that's interesting for what it is. You got some more Court of the Owls stuff in this.
More Court. We see that just some of the Waynes are evil and that the self-righteous kind of thing travels down the line.
The Waynes, I don't know he was evil, was he? I mean, because he basically says, hey, you can't act this way in my...
Yeah, I was saying that not all the Waynes are evil.
Not all the Waynes. I thought you said,
I mean, I didn't want to say that all the Waynes were good because... I mean, I don't know why this is New 52, but obviously his brother isn't the best guy. And before this, What's-His-Face made a deal with the devil.
Well, yeah, right.
Right. Anyway, but yes.
So that was all. No, it was a fun issue. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing, how this is going to work out with, the guys they're after and whatnot. The back issue in this had Batlash in it. It was a fun, just one little quick story showing what a schmoozer he is.
Exactly.
What a silver-tongued devil he is, basically. Yeah. I mean, he deserves to be punched and beat up and whatnot. Yes. I mean, he didn't do what they said he did, but he still deserves to be beat up. Yeah. He's kind of sorry. What did you think of the book?
I liked it. Yes, I thought it was funny. It was amusing to see something that made Hex laugh.
Yeah. That's disturbing. The idea of him hacking away.
Yeah, that was funny. But pretty much what you said.
Yeah.
And for the backstory, I didn't like it. I didn't feel that was necessary.
Oh.
Just kind of
Well, just introducing another character from the old DC universe, basically, is what it was. I'm just happy that it's just one issue.
Yeah.
Just one story, and we're done with that. So, what would we rate this book?
I'd give it a solid 3.
I give it 3 also. It was fun. Okay, next we're going to talk about the Hypernaturals, and this is from Boom Studio. And this is probably only like the 3rd or 4th Boom Studio book I have ever picked up, I think.
Wow.
Mr. Stuffings. Remember that book that we got for your sister? Yeah.
Was Boom.
Yeah.
That was
anyway, so.
Anyway, but it's interesting. It's an interesting idea. I mean, at first I was thinking it'd be some sort of dystopia and it'd be the Hypernaturals fighting against this, because as we start out we get this backstory about that there's this Q-core thing. And it doesn't seem like people are too bad, but on the other hand it's definitely an arguable concept, because like the villain in this, all he's doing is he's messing up the Q-core.
Right.
And so, I mean, necessarily can he really be qualified as a villain? I mean, because we see tons of stories where it's this all-reigning force that's running people, right? And then it usually turns out that the good guys are the people who are fighting against it.
Right. So just so everybody knows, the Q-core, basically, human society has evolved far enough and we've gotten smart enough AIs, artificial intelligence, that there's this entity called the Q-core, and it basically runs human life. I mean, you read that, like you've been saying, you start to think, oh, this is going to be a book where they're fighting against the alien, the AIs that are controlling all of humanity and whatnot, because we see so many sci-fi type stories where the AI is the bad guy and stuff, and we don't know that it still ultimately doesn't end up being the bad guy, like you said.
Yeah.
There's an argument for, kind of uncomfortable sounding to say that there's artificial intelligence basically running our lives for us. Now, we're not slaves to it,
No.
It just takes care of lots of stuff for us. It sounds like. But yeah, this was interesting. The fact is they're working with that. Our main characters, the superheroes and whatnot, are, well, superheroes. I don't know if they're superheroes. This is kind of like the Legion, but they're not honoring other superheroes. It's the Legion in that it's set in kind of a future utopia of sorts, and they're a group of different powered beings that are brought together. There's one kind of cliche-ish thing in this that seems to be used a lot in a lot of stories. One of the characters is in this. Used to be a hero.
Yeah.
Now bad stuff happened. They went on a mission. Bad stuff happened. He's no longer a hero on this team. He's kind of down in his luck, watching it happen while he's sitting in a bar. That's kind of stereotypical. That's the only real beef I had with the book. Otherwise, I thought it was kind of interesting. It's got kind of a sci-fi bent to it. I mean, it's not hard science fiction,
No.
but it has that kind of a feel to it. It's not quite superhero-y. I mean, there is a team of super-powered people. Yeah, you know, you got this team in the past, that something bad happened. We've now moved forward many years. That team, what part of the team didn't die, is a lot of it is part of the directors of this new super team, this great celebrated team, and that great celebrated team goes off to this place and disappears.
Yeah.
Completely gets annihilated or something. We don't know what happens to them. So they scrounge up a new team really fast, and it's a team of basically not
The
necessarily...
rookies and the veterans.
The rookies and these people who've come out of retirement. So there they are on this planet trying to figure out what happened. They get there and everything's devastated.
And there's a villain that they fought long, long ago. They're like, his fingerprints are
all over this thing, but it can't be him because... Can't be him, though.
He's in jail.
Because he's supposedly in jail.
He's in jail. And long ago, this guy stole this pre-human artifact, as I'm being attacked by bugs. This pre-human artifact, and he figured out to use it because he has intelligence level 13. Nobody
13.
has any hypernatural ability level 13, like anything compared to me.
He's just super smart.
Not counting even intelligence.
Right.
And but he's actually used this fragment, which it sounds like to some degree it can alter reality, and was part of a dark matter engine.
Right.
He's figured out how to use it to taboo his name. So if you say his name, inherently bad things happen.
It's kind of like Voldemort. Don't say that.
Yeah. And so they fly up way high, and they...
Well, that one guy. One of the
guy
rookies...
has these little probey things that he sends around to fly around and check out
His
stuff.
hypernatural power is he basically has this
swarm
of things that he can use to... as basically sensors for all different kinds of information.
So they fly up high and they're looking around, right?
And you get a shot of the planet they're on.
And this destruction has been carved literally as his thumbprint. Which is kind of corny, but actually was kind of fun too. That was fun.
The main reason I picked this book...
It's fun in the same way of Chairface carving his name into the moon.
Oh,
in Tick.
In Tick, yes. Pretty awesome. I liked it. Anyway, this book is written by Dan Abbott and Andy Lanning. I've liked some of their work in the past. I believe they're the guys who are writing Resurrection Man. That's one of the biggest reasons I picked it up. Wanted to give them a shot at something else. So yeah, I liked it. I'm definitely, I'll have to hit the local chain store to pick up number 2. I put number 3 on the pull list. We'll get it for a little bit just to see kind of how it goes, because it was enjoyable as far as that. Yeah. As far as the first issue, it gave us enough to kind of know what's going on. It gave us I don't know, I think we got quite a bit of character out of each person. We kind of know what, how they are a little bit.
What's going on with them?
I thought that was a pretty decent first issue. What would you grade it?
I give it a solid 3.
I give it a really strong 3. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting, decent art, whatnot. Anyway, what's next?
Next up we have I, Vampire, issue 10.
And the Van Helsings. Okay, so we find out just how freaking crazy the Van Helsings are. Of course, Bennett and Bloody Mary are fighting over who's going to be boss of the vampires, and of course, she doesn't stand a chance against Bennett, really.
She's cut out with all these different tactics. And
but while they were showing them fighting around, Bennett's buddy, now I'm drawing a blank on his name, the professor guy, and the leader of this platoon of Van Helsings are having this long conversation about right and wrong, what moral high ground, moral low ground.
Why they shouldn't be killing
Are
vampires.
you any different than the vampires yourself? That's actually really, I like that. It was interesting to read that, them having their argument, their philosophical argument while this other stuff's going on. And they're doing that while they're flying over it. Of course, when it comes down to it, they don't care. They all go, this entire platoon goes jumping out of the thing because they have some secret plan as to how they're going to destroy more vampires than anybody other platoon ever has. They'll go down as being the heroes of the Van Helsings as they drop napalm on all of the vampires, but that isn't the real attack.
Yeah, they drop
They're
napalm,
just to make
and
them mad.
they're jumping down, and they're
Getting killed.
hitting them with their stake guns, right? And they're just being slaughtered.
They're being slaughtered. The
by
vampires are slaughtering
The
the
vampires are
Helsings.
just like,
Yeah.
and they're killing them. I mean, they can't kill.
Well-
they can't kill half the vampires there
Well,
because half the vampires there are over 300 and can't be killed unless
Bennett
they choose to die.
ends up blowing a whole bunch of them up.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Just
Yeah.
he basically Bennett nukes a whole bunch of them,
Yeah.
and then the bad stuff happens. At the very
Yeah.
end.
Then they all stand back up because they're alive.
They're reanimated.
And Tig and the professor are all. He's a
Up-
professor,
up in
right?
the airplane. I think
Yeah,
it's professor,
up in the airplane. They're all tied up. I love Tig. Can I join Team Badass Slayer instead of Team Whiny Vampire?
Yes. That's
And then,
pretty funny.
and then the pilots jump out of the
Oh, yeah.
plane too.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Were those the pilots?"
Yep.
I believe so.
Yeah, so now they forgot to
He's
land their
like,
plane.
"Oh crap!"
But
And all the Van Helsings stand back up.
yeah, they're all wearing these little necklaces, with this little glowing rock on it. So like nuclear powered zombies or something, or
Whatever the
magical
weather,
powered or whatever.
They're all standing up.
Yeah, they're reanimated.
It's bad.
It's gonna be really cool. It should be absolute and crazy craziness. So
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
I'm enjoying the heck out of this
Bad.
book. My only question is of course if it's in the DC universe and this amount of craziness happened, I know it's out in the middle of the desert where there aren't a lot of heroes probably, but that would show up on somebody's radar, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it show up on Stormwatch's radar, or wouldn't it show up Justice League?
That's
or,
what I was thinking. Is like maybe. I mean, I don't know. Not necessarily Justice League, maybe. Because no offense, but the current Justice League makes the Justice League seem kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they make
we'll get
they
to that in
make,
a minute.
They make it seem like the dumb blonde team of the DC universe. I don't know, but
not just the blonde, the dumb blonde.
the dumb blonde.
Good clarification.
Um,
But yeah, not taking anything away from the book though. I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying
Yeah.
the vampire book.
Uh-huh.
I just looking at it in the grand scheme of the DC universe. Of course, lots of stuff happens that
yeah.
people don't
well,
react
exactly.
to.
Like in Swamp Thing and Animal Man, there's this whole plague of black evil foul stuff that's
Running
going
across
on.
the desert also.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Don't go to the southwest of the United States. You
No.
people who live in Arizona, Utah, and all those places, I really feel sorry for you guys.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the bad stuff happens at, and no one seems to care.
Yeah.
Anyway, what would you rate the book?
I give it a solid 4.
Yep, I give it a solid 4 also. It was awesome. Okay, next we're going to talk about Justice League number 10. All those people with coffins.
The dumb blonde
Heroes
Team.
of the new DCU.
universe. Oh my gosh, it's just not that good.
Which
This
is boring.
isn't that good.
It's
It's
just boring.
boring.
It's just boring. You know what? Jeff Johns, everybody rants and raves about how awesome he is. Brad, I have not read the Green Lantern.
Neither have I.
Back when he read that and when he wrote that and it was so awesome supposedly and whatnot. I don't know how it is now. I don't hear anybody talking about how it's uber fabulous. I don't know. Maybe he
I'm
needs
underwhelmed.
Maybe he needs to give it a break. Maybe he needs to dial it back. Maybe he just needs to stick on Aquaman because I don't read Aquaman. But this is boring. The art was okay, but you can have great art, but if you don't have something interesting going on with that great art, it's still boring.
Unless J.H. Williams is your artist.
Then it can't be boring.
But not yeah.
But I don't know. All I gotta say is that I guess I'm like Ghost Critic in a way, in the fact that, man, it's Justice League. I want to be able to collect the Justice League.
Well, yeah.
But at the same time,
Well, you were like that with Green Arrow. Green Arrow wasn't
Oh,
good,
no.
but he's still Green
but
Arrow.
Green Arrow's awful.
Yeah.
But that book's awful, and we're
That book's
dropping that because
horrible,
that book
but-
is awful. Whereas, like I was talking last review, I was talking about Nightwing, about how I just don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing about the book that really makes me care. There's nothing about this book that makes me care either,
We're on
other than
issue-
it's the Justice League.
We're on issue 10 already, and it's
And-
just kind of like, eh.
They're just spinning in circles. I mean, I don't know, but there's not really anything that interesting about this villain. There's nothing for me to really care, other than to find out what stupid reason why it is
I
that
was
he
gonna
thinks the
say,
Justice
like,
League,
yeah.
why he thinks the Justice League's at fault for his woes.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, what about the Shazam backstory?
That's the only thing about this book that I like.
You know, and I've not liked the Shazam story up until this point.
I'm liking it more and more.
Right.
I
This
mean,
is interesting.
at first, the first issue, I was just like, oh, why?
Yeah.
No, because,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, now we're
he's
getting
a punk, but
right.
now we're getting...
We're getting
now
the
we're getting-
reasons why. I just think it's silly that it being a backup story and it being so short is that I think a lot of readers will have given up on it by now because it took so long to get to some redeeming features of the guy. Because it's these little backup stories.
I wish they put it out in a full book.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just done a
so
little
for right
Shazam
now,
special.
so for right
special,
now,
like Shazam
I'm going
Zero.
forward with Justice League. I did my order yesterday. Justice League's still on my thing because the Zero issue that comes out that I'm ordering right now it's a Shazam issue. That's what it is. It's pure Shazam. And supposedly later on he's going to come into the group next year sometime, whatever. And we'll see. We'll see how issue 11 makes me feel, how issue 12 makes me feel. I just like Green Arrow. Oh, I hate Green Arrow. Love the character, but hate the Anyway, everybody knows that. I may be dropping this just because I'm not that excited about it. I'm thinking I can find something else that I'm more excited about. I don't know, unless something gets pulled out here. But 10 issues in, it's just been kind of humdrum. That's sad. Okay, so what were we gonna rate this thing?
2.
2. Yeah, just not excited by it. It's not bad, but it was just duller than dull.
Yeah, next up we have Justice League, a better version, Dark. Before you start talking, this is a really creepy cover. I mean, like, it's like Bennett, Zatanna, Constantine, Orchid, and... Black Orchid, and Deadman. And they're all charging this door. And it's Faust on the other side going...
Yeah, a creepy, withered Faust, yeah.
And it's just really creepy. It's just creepy. Okay, go.
Yeah. Which I don't know is reminiscent of the House of Mystery.
I haven't read that.
The old House of Mystery always had some creepy thing on the front cover. So.
True.
But I like this book. I like this. I like the new team. I like the new writer. We can go ahead and harp on Minutia Minute 2 like everybody else has. You're silly for having dropped the book at this point.
Yep.
But I do have some beefs with this issue, though. Of course, I also read Hellblazer. I like that version better than this version. This version seems to. Well, I know, but this version, they're not showing him with any real redeeming features.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he just truly is a lying bastard. In the other version, yeah, he's a lying bastard at times, but at the end of the day, ultimately, he really is. I mean, he's out for himself, but he's certainly not going to do anything that screws the rest of the universe. And we're not getting that so far with this character. My real issue with this, though, is why in the world has Deadman suddenly started calling John Constantine John Cobb? Okay? He calls him John Cobb a number of times through it. In the Vertigo series, John Constantine has a friend who is a punk, Mohawk, the whole works, who actually is King Arthur. It's King Arthur's direct heir.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't know it. He doesn't know he is, but he's King Arthur's. He always calls Constantine John Cobb. Why would Deadman, who's not English, who's not none of that stuff, suddenly be calling him that nickname? Makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. So, YouTube world, you explain to me why he suddenly started calling that, because that bothered me. That's the one thing about the book that bothered me. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay? Great things about the book. Oh my God, the art is awesome in it. I love Dr. Mist, is that his name?
Yes.
The way he looks,
awesome.
Holy cows, he starts flipping his powers, absorbing magic,
They're
and
all
checking
like,
stuff
they're
out.
all like, ah! You know, the demons pop up because
Right.
they laid a trap because
Booby trap.
Faust couldn't open it himself. They start to blast them, and everybody's like, oh no, and Dr. Mist is like, oh no, and then he's like, oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
Then he starts to absorb their magic. I mean,
Yeah.
that was pretty insane.
It's cool. I still
And
like.
you know-
I like the Black Orchid character. You know, she has her own interests as far as who she's working for. She's not totally swayed.
My problem was though, like, so John Constantine, I mean, maybe it's because they're demons, I guess, or something, or they're already bound to Felix. But he's like, you know, so anybody that enters the House of Mystery is now bound to me and the house.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, why doesn't he just call the demons back right as they? Okay.
Probably because they don't play by the same rules.
Yeah, that's
They're more
those.
powerful. I mean, that's pretty obvious. They were more powerful.
Yeah, but Okay, my other beef is not so much that it's a problem with the comic, the way it's written, just the people in it. I mean, it's one of those, if the people in the horror movies listened to me, they'd still be alive.
You think
kind
you're
of
making
things.
dumb choices?
But, okay, I understand that you may not have tons of prisons that can hold magical people out there, but why would you bring them to your prison that's connected to the place where you have all of your almighty powerful magical objects?
Yeah. Unless you're
Let's-
using some of those almighty powerful magics to lock him down.
I suppose so, but still,
Hasn't been explained.
obviously they weren't working. So, I mean, so they bring Felix Faust, who is arguably one of the most powerful magician magic villains in the DC universe.
We assume he is, yeah.
Well, he was in the old DCU.
He was certainly a pain in the neck, yeah.
And they bring him to a place that is at least somewhere near the room with all of their, like what, the Black Room, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Black Room.
The Black Room, which is full of magical objects that supposedly don't exist anymore and are almighty and extremely powerful.
Well, we'll see.
Now he has the map to the books
That was interesting. The map.
and
Yeah.
and he-
possible access to the Black Room.
and you know, you're talking about how he has no redeeming qualities.
Constantine?
And yeah, how Constantine hasn't been shown to have any redeeming qualities.
Uh-huh.
I have to argue with her on that
Okay.
because Xanadu has that vision to the future, and everybody is dead. Everybody. I mean,
Right.
it's even worse than what we've been seeing with the Rot. I mean,
Right.
there's absolutely nothing
That Swamp
there.
Man's laying there
And
dead,
it's just-
Animal Man's laying there dead. Yeah.
It's just Constantine, and he has all 4 books of power.
Right.
And he's going to remake the world from his vision, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's only let Xanadu live this long because, you know, he kills her. He could have killed her through the future to the past, though. But because he wants to live for this long. But even though that's the only reason why he's left her alive, he still has his redeeming quality to say, hey, don't let me get hold of the books. Don't let me take these books of power because they corrupt.
So you think that's
anybody."
actually Constantine doing that, and that's just not her vision giving her the warning?
I think
Okay.
that's.
Well, that's cool if that's the case.
Well, I think,
Well, I'm
it's,
gonna-
I think it's Constantine
Okay.
doing that, not her vision, because Constantine messes with her through her vision, which is why I think that's Constantine saying that.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll argue that point with you. I think it's cool they're using the books of magic. I think that's interesting that they're going to tap into that well of the old DC and Vertigo universe and whatnot. We'll see how that all plays out and whatnot. I mean, despite the complaints about the few things, still really liking the
Yeah,
book.
me too.
Interesting. All the other characters I really enjoy. I think it's really interesting. The art is absolutely fabulous in it and really cool, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it.
Okay, what'd you give
Excited for
it?
this one. I give it a week 4.
I'd give it a week 4 too.
Yeah. Okay, last we're going to talk about X-Men. Just X-Men. Number 31.
Well, I'm liking this comic book. I kind of wondered what the side effects would be of, dropping a giant monster on Colossus and then hitting him with a bazooka. I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, yes, he has metal skin and he's pretty tough, but first of all, he's underwater, so, it must be taking him somewhat to not just, sink to the bottom, and I'm assuming he probably can't breathe underwater. And then they hit him with a bazooka. I mean, they hit the monster too, but they hit him too.
Right.
I was just kind of like, oh. So
Well, that wasn't
so
the
they
bazooka, that
actually-
was the bit of the damage.
They,
It's when it just suddenly blew itself up. That
Yeah.
was the real damage.
they gave themselves, what? No, he got a concussion. That made sense to me. I'm like, I don't care if you have metal skin. If you take, a bazooka to the face, there's going to be repercussions.
But he's got metal eardrums and metal skull and probably a metal brain. I don't know.
There's going to be repercussions.
Yeah, he doesn't have hair.
So,
See, if he had his hair back, he wouldn't have gotten a concussion probably.
yep, it just would have bounced right off his little metal flat top.
Sure. Here, what else do you think about that?
Okay, but, I like the fact that, Domino was asking the scientist if that doctor was free.
Yeah.
Is he free? No, dang it.
Yeah, we don't know a lot about the Domino character. Me and Ethan don't, but
No.
yeah, we're starting to get more and more personality. I think the whole do we tell Scott, do we not tell Scott thing is
That's
getting
interesting.
more and more interesting. The end of this definitely, I mean, because it sounds like not everybody's real
And
happy
then-
with that decision.
And then there's that one guy who's just walking along. I mean, there's this. There's,
He is getting bigger, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's getting
he gets
giant
huge.
as he's getting closer
He
to
gets
the
huge.
city.
Yeah, like he's
cruising
walking,
into Quebec.
Well, yeah, he's getting bigger though. I mean, like not just something he grows big, but as he's getting closer, he's suddenly growing because
Right.
I mean, like one, he's like about human height, and then like when what's her face sees him, he's like
Right.
this tall.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, so there's a disaster that's coming. They got to figure out how to stop that. The whole reading their minds and finding out they're all kind of really ancient and whatnot. That's cool. The fact that there's potentially somebody's been using this ancient, like Neanderthal version of mutant genes to manufacture their own
something,
monsters.
but like in
basically.
this, we actually see that he's created this little army of
Things.
mutants.
Yeah. So I'm actually really excited about this book. It's
Yeah.
getting more and more interesting. I'm kind of glad I picked it up.
Uh-huh.
It's
What'd you give it?
I'm going to give it a really strong 3.
I give it a solid 3.
Yep. Okay, that's it for this week. We got more comics on the way, so we'll see you next week with some more reviews.